There are a lot of unknowns going into 2024, but perhaps the biggest one is PlayStation. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody, welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about PlayStation in 2024, and specifically what's going on with PlayStation in 2024. What should we be expecting? What am I expecting? What do I want from PlayStation in 2024? Because there is a lot to wonder and ask about in regards to PlayStation in 2024. There's so many questions, so many mysteries surrounding that company. I already did a video similar to this one about Nintendo, talking about my theories about what I think is going to happen with them this year, specifically regarding the Switch 2. So if you have not already checked that video out, go check that out. But today, we're talking all about PlayStation. Now, last year, 2023, was a bit of a quiet year for PlayStation in terms of first-party stuff. The big first-party release of 2023 for PlayStation was undeniably Spider-Man 2. Big game, huge game, awesome, loved that game. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Sorry my actual review never came out. Just kind of ended up not working out the way I wanted it to, but would have given it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Amazing game. Earlier than that in the year, though, we had the Horizon Burning Shores DLC come out. At the tail end of the year, the last minute, God of War Ragnarok's Valhalla DLC came out, and that was amazing, a masterpiece, lovely epilogue to to Ragnarok right there. And then we had PSVR2 come out as well. We'll talk about that some later on in this video. But for the most part, 2023 was a bit quiet. It was a bit light in terms of first-party releases, first-party news. I mean, we did have the showcase that happened last year. We had some other news as well, but the showcase wasn't really the big thing that everyone was hoping for. It was really disappointing and lackluster in terms of the announcements people wanted. We saw Concord barely, we saw Fair Games, we saw Marathon. Also, I forgot as well, Destiny 2. We had the final shape this year. We had Lightfall last year, so that was a thing that happened as well. Bungie acquisition happened last year. A bunch of stuff happened, but still, in terms of releases, it was a quiet year for the most part. And the PlayStation Portal as well, can't forget that. It's a niche thing, but it did happen. 2024 though, what is going on this year? What is happening this year? What is the future of PlayStation looking like? Because right now, it's really an unknown. There's a lot of questions. And I want to start the conversation specifically with the first party studios that PlayStation has. Because right now, they have quite a bit of studios, and really across the board with basically all of them, we have no idea what they are doing or when whatever they're working on is coming. And I have a list. I'm going to run down this list. I have left off the San Diego studio because they do MLB. That's a constant. That's a known factor. And I also left off Polyphony because Gran Turismo just finished fairly recently. And also they are the Gran Turismo studio. There's not much mystery there regarding them. So I've left them off of this list in terms of studios that I'm going to go over and everything. So that said, let's dig into this. All right, and then maybe we'll put things in context in regards to how first party for PlayStation in 2024 and beyond is really just up in the air and a giant mystery. So let's start with Naughty Dog. We could presume they're making The Last of Us Part 3 and a new IP, maybe. Who knows what it is though? Who knows when we'll see either of these things? Sucker Punch, presumably working on Ghost of Tsushima 2, not confirmed, but again, who knows when we'll see it and when it will come out. Guerrilla Games, presumably Horizon 3 most likely, and a Horizon multiplayer game, and Horizon MMO, and Horizon cookies and graham crackers and everything. Just Horizon everything. But again, just a matter of the when we will see any of these things. I don't imagine Horizon 3 will be seeing anytime soon, but like the multiplayer game, if it's happening still, where is that? When are we going to see that? Sony Santa Monica. There's rumors that they're working on a new IP of some sort, maybe more God of War stuff, but most likely a new IP is what they're currently working on. Who knows when we'll see that and when that'll come out. Insomniac, we know they're working on Wolverine Of course, the recent hacking that happened over there that caused a bunch of information to come out about their future projects has also come out. I'm not going to talk about any of those specifically in here in this conversation because I don't want to, spread that information. But we know a lot of what their current future plans are. But for the sake of this conversation, Wolverine, we know, and in that hack, the planned release date or release window was kind of in that information too. But again, when are we going to see this game? When is that going to come up? London studio, they confirmed that they're working on a new game last year. It's a live service multiplayer type game. When are we going to see that? When is that coming? Ben Studio, another one. They said that they're working on a new IP. When are we going to see it? When is that coming out? Bluepoint, they did the Demon Souls remake at the beginning of the PS5 lifecycle. What is their new project? We know they're working on something new. Is it a remake? Is it a new IP? What is it? When are we going to see it? Housemarque, developers behind Returnal. What are they working on? Is that another new IP? Are we getting a sequel to Returnal or something else? Who knows? Media Molecule, what are they working on? They just said recently that they were so last year that Dreams was going to be shutting down essentially, and that they were going to be moving on to something new. Cool. Who knows when we're going to see it, but they're doing something new. Team Asobi, again, we haven't seen anything from them since the PS5 launched with Astro's Playroom packed in with the PS5. Since then though, nothing. Who knows what it is they're doing though, or is it an Astro sequel? Is it a sequel to Playroom, so it'll be a third-person platformer? Is it a sequel in the VR space? Is it a new IP? What are we getting from them? Firesprite, they're the ones, they did Horizon Call of the Mountain. What's their next VR project? Again, maybe we should, I probably should have taken them off this list because that just came out last year. Kind of forgot about that. But you would imagine maybe they're doing another VR project, so that'll take some time. Sorry, Firesprite, you should have been on this list, but is what it is. Firewalk, they're working on Concord, but we know nothing about that game. Just that it's supposed to come out in 2024, but what is it? When is it coming out this year? If it's still coming out this year. Haven is making Fair Games, which we know nothing about, really. I mean, aside from it's like a heist-based PvP extraction type shooter game. Cool. When are we going to see more of it? When is it coming out? And then Bungie 2 Final Shape later on this year in June 2024. That's a lot of unknowns with first party, and it's a bit, I don't know if I'd say concerning. Ordinarily, I don't think I'd be concerned because it is what it is. Trust the process. Games take time to make. It is what it is. I completely understand that. It's more so the fact that the majority of these studios, we have had no idea what they've been working on since this generation started, for the most part. Naughty Dog, they were working on Last of Us a multiplayer for the longest time. That recently got canceled, but we also knew they were still doing other single player stuff. We still haven't seen any of it, so where is that? Aside from, they do have Last of Us Part 2 Remastered coming out. They did Part 1 Remake. Those things cool, but in terms of new releases, we don't know. Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima 2. Ghost of Tsushima came out in literally 2020, so around now is when we should be hearing something about what they're doing. Sony Santa Monica, new IP. What are we getting? What are we getting from them? London Studio, what are we getting? Bend, what are we getting? We haven't gotten anything from them since 2019 with Days Gone. Been so long. Bluepoint again since 2020. There's just so many games, so many teams here, where I understand game dev takes time, and I want the devs to take their time making these things and, show it off when it's ready. I guess it's just, for me, a thing of it's been so long since we've heard from some of these teams, and game development is taking even longer and being more expensive, that it just feels like such a long period of silence from so many teams all at the same time. And it's man, I'm hungry for something from these guys. I want to know what you all are working on. I want to see what's next. Again, I trust the process. Take your time. I don't want to rush the developers. So developers, if you're watching this, trust me, I'm not rushing you. I'm just very eager to see what's coming. And as of right now, I have no idea what the future is for basically any of you in 2024 or beyond for PlayStation's first party studios. And for right now, it seems like in terms of 2024 at the very least, second party and third party are really going to be carrying PlayStation this year, again similar to 2023. This year we know we have Helldivers 2, the start of the year in February, Stellar Blade should be coming at some point this year, maybe. Rise of the Ronin, third-party exclusive, that's coming in March. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that's the biggest one, coming later on this year. Actually, not later on this year, coming at the end of February. And then maybe Death Stranding 2, except I highly doubt it is coming this year. It's probably more like a Leah next year game at this point, but anything's possible. So yeah, again, in terms of PlayStation releases, second or third party are heavily carrying the conversation this year, as of right now. I mean, a PlayStation showcase, a good state of play, could really turn this conversation around in a heartbeat, but it really is a matter of when are we going to get either of those things, and even if we get a showcase, is it going to be what we hope and want it to be? We were hoping that would be the case last year, and it wasn't the case. I mean, I thought it was a fine showcase, but it definitely was not one that we were hoping and dreaming of, where we'd get the lowdown for a bunch of the first-party studios in terms of, all right, what are we getting from Asobi? What's Bluepoint doing? What's Naughty Dog doing? We didn't get any of that. So one would hope and think that the next showcase would give us the lowdown on what a lot of these teams are doing. Here's your new look at the next game from Housemarque. Here's your first look at the new game from Sucker Punch, whatever, if it's Ghost of Tsushima. Here's your look at that. Here's a look at what team Asobi is working on. Astro is back in a brand new way, whatever the case may be. Here's a good look at Haven, Fair Games, and Concord, so you actually know what these games are. Like, that's what we need from PlayStation's first party, and we need it desperately, I would say, because right now we're kind of thirsting and hungry for news and kind of grasping at straws where we can get them. And again, and that's not to say that, you know, third-party games and indie games are lesser than. Trust me, they're not. I love them all. But just, again, from the standpoint of first-party studios, the studios that, as PlayStation fans, we know and love and cherish. We love their games so much. They're some of the best games in the industry. We do want to know what's happening, what's going on, what does the future look like, what does the roadmap for phase 2 of the PS5 look like? Because right now, there kind of is no roadmap aside from Wolverine, whenever that's coming out. And other than that, it's kind of like, all right, we're just walking down a foggy, dusty road with no real, you know, path ahead of us. We're just following our gut, I guess, or following our heart, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. You know, we're walking on faith, so to speak. Now, that kind of goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about with PlayStation for 2024, that being PSVR2, because again, just like with first party and how we're kind of walking on faith here, PSVR2, people are really walking on faith with that one. And now, I don't have a PSVR2. I do want one because I do like VR. I like the idea of VR. I have a Quest 2 that I barely use, but I do want a PSVR2. I like the technology. It looks really cool. It looks really awesome. But this was something that people were worried about when the PSVR2 was first announced, when it first came out, and that was the conversation of support. Would Sony support the PSVR2? Would they stand by it? Or would it be a thing where they kind of just did something with it for a bit and then just left it out to die, similar to the PS Vita? And I was of the mindset of, it's possible, yes, but I trust the process enough where I'm like, you know what? I would like to think that they seem more all in on VR2 than they did with the Vita, and they've learned the lessons from the original VR, so now they're going all in on VR2, and they're going to stand by it more than they did previously. And as of right now, again, I understand game development is tough, especially with VR games. Game development is very tough. I understand that entirely. But as someone from the outside looking in, you gotta wonder, where is the support for PSVR2? Something's wrong with my face. Is Sony already letting PSVR2 just slowly die off right now? Like, we haven't heard much more in the way of any big VR games coming to PSVR2, whether it be first party wise or third party, whatever the case may be. We haven't really heard of too many coming to PSVR2. You know, people have always been wondering, where's Half-Life Alyx? Is Alyx ever going to come to PSVR2? That's the big one. That's the one that Sony should be throwing all the money at Valve to try and get. And very true, yes, they should. But maybe they've been trying and it just hasn't been able to work out, or maybe they haven't even cared to try. Who knows? Neither here nor there. Still the point of content and supporting the platform. And right now with PSVR2, it is up in the air as to whether or not Sony is going to be standing by it. I don't know what it's going to look like in 2024, but my hopes really are not that high. Now, the next topic I want to briefly talk about with PlayStation 2024 is their live service push, which, as we know, in 2023 has kind of blown up in their face in a bit, namely with The Last of Us Online, that project being utterly canceled after a tumultuous development cycle, and Naughty Dog basically saying, hey, we either had to commit to being a fully live service studio or just not doing it at all, going single player, and we don't want to be fully live service because we have still all our reasons behind it, so we're canceling the project. And that was just like, it was a move that I was very happy with. Sorry, Last of Us Factions fan, is what it is, but it definitely was like a bit of egg on their face for Sony and Naughty Dog to have to publicly say this, be like, hey, yeah, this wasn't working out, this live service thing wasn't for us, we had to cancel it so we can continue doing what we wanted to do. And then, you know, they had plans for, I think they had 12 live service games in development, half of which are now canceled. Who knows if the other half will come out and what they're going to be. I mean, at this point, Fair Games, you imagine, is coming out. Concord, yes, will be coming out. Marathon is coming out. So those three right there. With the Horizon multiplayer game, you imagine, probably, maybe, who knows, possibly, whatever it is. And then whatever the other ones are, the London studio one, that one, maybe that's still in development, who knows. But the live service push, that definitely, you got to wonder, like, how badly has that thrown things off for Sony in their first party studios in terms of development schedules, what games they're working on, morale at the studios, so on and so forth. I mean, they're also in the Insomniac hack, that's what it was. You know, there was the reports that layoffs were going to be happening at different studios and everything, specifically in that case Insomniac, but there have been layoffs at other Sony studios as well in terms of cost-cutting measures. You got to wonder, like, this live service push, has this also kind of played into the fact of more layoffs going to be happening across the board at PlayStation Studios? Like, this live service push, I was of the mindset of, when it first was announced, like, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but trust the process. You know, I would like to think that they wouldn't be doing something like this if they didn't think that it was a good idea, if they didn't think that it was a smart thing to do. And now 2024, it's looking like, hey, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, maybe we should have done that, guys. So yeah, I'm just thinking about that right now, and I'm wondering how much we're going to be seeing them put their feet on the brakes on the live service push this year, or if they're going to, you know, continue pressing down the gas just a little bit with the ones that they have already said that are still in development, and, you know, kind of just see where the wind blows on that. I don't know. That's just something else I'm thinking about with 2024 for PlayStation this year. And last but not least is, of course, the PS5 Pro. Now, this has been rumored for a long time because of, you know, thanks to Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming and all, had leaked this along with the existence of the PlayStation Portal, which at the time leaked it as Project Q, alongside the PS5 Slim as well. So two of those three are right. You know, if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it is a duck. And where there's smoke, there's fire. PS5 Pro is almost certainly a real thing, almost certainly going to be coming. I imagine it will be coming later on this year, most likely in time for the holiday season, similar to how the PS5 Slim was kind of slowly rolled out. Except the PS5 Pro would have like bigger, you know, marketing budget behind it and everything like that. I imagine the PS5 Pro would probably be a September to October release thing, maybe November at the latest, but probably September, October release and all. And in terms of pricing, I mean, I would imagine this thing's going to be like $600. I don't see Sony dropping the price of the base PS5 to like $400 and then putting this out on the PS5 Pro out at $500. It's possible they could do that. It's the route that they took with the PS4. The PS4 got dropped down in price and the PS4 Pro was the original price of $400. It is possible. But again, the economy is different. This console is more expensive than the previous one, so who knows? It is a different world that we're in right now for the PS5 generation. They could say the PS5 Pro will be $600, but I think they want to avoid that because remember, PS3, $600 when that came out for the most expensive version. That didn't work out too well for them. I don't know how well it'll work out doing it now, even if this is just a mid-gen refresh, which is a whole other conversation of do we even need a mid-gen refresh at this point in time. I'm not getting into that in this video right now, but I don't know. That $600 price tag, it's possible. Is it likely? fairly likely. I don't like the chances of that happening though. I think be smart, stick with 500, drop the base PS5 down to 400, and then go from there. And you know, this different world we live in right now. Anything's possible. That said, in terms of PS5 Pro, will I get it at launch? No, most likely not. Just like I didn't get it with the PS4 Pro. I only even got that when I did, because Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out, and I was like, what the heck, why not? I want to play that the best way possible. I'm a giant Kingdom Hearts fan. It is what it is. It has to happen. Traded in my original PS4 for the PS4 Pro. So that's probably what would happen with me and a PS5 Pro at some point down the line, unless I just have money to blow on a PS5 Pro at launch, but I doubt that'll happen. That's going to be it for this video though. Those are all my thoughts on PlayStation in 2024, all my thoughts on the mysteries, the unknowns, what I want, what I expect from them in 2024. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you guys think about my thoughts on first party? What do you guys think about the first party studios that they have and what we can expect from them? What do you think they're working on? Let me know down below. Same goes for PSVR2. Do you think that we're going to be seeing more support for it this year? What about the PS5 Pro and their live service push over there? Let me know all those thoughts down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video as well. And remember, like I said, I already did a video about Nintendo, and there's going to be a video coming out about Xbox as well. So make sure you are subscribed and have that notification bell turned on. That way you can know as soon as videos go live and be one of the first people to check them out. My name is Tyler. This is The Comfy Spot. I'll talk with you all next time. Have a great one.